So we're at kind of an interesting point here. And, of course, stupid me starting a game like this over a weekend where things are hard to grasp. At the beginning, on Friday, and then now it's Sunday night, and I'm reapproaching it after quite a while away. But purple is the last chairman. Chairman's empty, so the last chairman is still the first player. He's got interesting choices, as always, right? This is family actions here. If he wants to keep the company alive, buying shares is not a bad choice. That puts more money into it. He'd have the majority of votes. He's got this bonus, so he might be able to actually just push himself through as chairman. He doesn't particularly want to move the position that he's got in goods purchasing because he's established in factories, although the price isn't very good right now, but that's okay. However, maybe the company can't be saved. And I got a lot of victory points. I'm sitting on 2, 4, 6. These don't count. But with 6 victory points, I may not want to be chairman. I may not want an executive office because there's penalties to having the executive offices if the company crashes. This is really, really tough. I don't think anybody has as many victory points as I do, in which case buying shares might be the wrong thing to do. I may want to try to tank the company. I'm going to go with tanking the company, to be honest, and I'm going to buy myself a manor. Now other people get to react. Do they think the company can survive? I don't have the cash over here to buy a manor. I am not doing terribly well in terms of victory points. I've got 3. I think. Can we afford to buy a share? We can't get the chairmanship unless we buy a share. What are we looking at? We've got this position, ships purchasing. I'm actually going to buy a share. I'll put that here. There's not really a treasury because normally it wouldn't sit there. Once the chairmanship is filled, he'll have to pay that money out. Ooh, lots and lots of other people's favors. What do I want to do with that? Well, other than the fact that I do not have a lot of victory points, I got 3, all those favors may not mean a damn thing. Although, they do drop everybody else's victory points, but there are probably people who have more. Purple we were talking about was at like 6. That 2 is 5. If they can make a couple bucks, they can buy it back before the end of the game. Is buying a share reasonable for me? Or is there something else I'd like to do? See, the more shares are out, the more has to be paid out in terms of dividends to keep a bailout from happening. That's another problem with this. But if some good income could be made, and all that has to be done is the money has to be distributed to the presidencies, I think, depending on random events. Yeah, we'll buy a share as well. Paxton's are the dark orange. That is not this. So he's got one that probably doesn't matter. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's got like 4 victory points. He owes a lot of cubes there, though. You're only allowed 1 per turn of the manors. Is there anything else that looks very promising? I mean, I could always put into the cheapies, right? And see what I can get there. It's my special. I get some cash for every 2 ships with captains. Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to be getting like $3 off that. Investing shares could really help the company, but I'm going to spend my 5 on getting a manor. I'm putting myself in kind of a more interesting position. And plus, I have enough cash back if things go really south. I can buy those. Really isn't doing well enough on the board. To want an end at this point. What they really want is they want to get one of those presidencies where they can, you know, sail or something like that, or a governorship where they can do good things as a governor. Given that, I'm going to be spending, oh, this is what I ought to be paying attention to. Who's spending money on these? So, like, these officers are fine, but green is definitely going to want to hold money and buy ships, I think. So, blue is not in that position. Now, blue's got officers coming. They could up their manners, try to get towards victory conditions. They're in pretty piss poor position for that right now. I'm going to buy 1, 2 shares and really try to help the company. And in addition, maybe get the chairmanship, which, you know, you can manipulate that to your advantage, I guess. What I said with green, they want boats. Boats currently are $4 each, which means I don't have money. So what can I put in free? Well, I'm blowing the money on the boats. I have to have writers to get extra cash. I'll throw a couple of writers in. That swings us around the family. And now it's time to fill the vacancies. Let me think a little bit about how the chairmanship election is going to go. Oh, there's a pile of cash there to be assigned now. What we have right now is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So it takes 6 votes to win this. Now, that 6 votes, the 2 extra bonus votes here can just be cast in. So, like, if it's 13 votes, right, it could end up, because there's, you know, 11 here plus those 2, 6 votes here wins, even though there's 7 opposition votes. It's an interesting little aspect of this, which was clarified in the facts, and it kind of goes contrary to what anyone would think, right? It's the second case where the FAC are just like, wow, that's not what I would consider. Okay. I think what it comes down to is that kind of idea of, well, no, it's not stated in the rules, and maybe we didn't really think about this too carefully, but yeah, the rules have to be perfect. Therefore, we're not going to, you know, to whatever extent they can be, therefore we're not going to change them because that creates an errata situation. So we create something kind of illogical instead, whatever. So the former chairman has first proposal here, and well, they've set things up to try to crush the company. Crushing the company means there's a lot of money in there, so I don't know. This is, I'm trying to remember what the game is. Was it game? Republic of Rome is definitely the game where you just keep proposing people, and finally, in that game, the last remaining possible candidate has to win. In this one, instead, you can defeat the candidates until then, as the person who started the nominating process overall, you get the choice of who to put in, who's eligible. Is everybody eligible? Orange, blue, dark orange, blue, green, purple, pink, and pale orange are all in there. So yeah, anybody's eligible. I don't know how this is going to play out. And I'm having a lot of trouble doing this on camera. So I'm going to back away and handle the election off camera. I'll try to describe it, but trying to go through the thinking of who to select, etc., and whether or not it even makes a damn bit of difference is tricky. I think I'll go with the default junta selection, which is if the nominee is got to be the first voter. So I get the most power if I make Larkins my nominee. Then I can see what I want out of it. So I'm going to put him forward as my nominee. And he doesn't think it's going to crash, so he'll take 2 votes in favor. I'll use this because it doesn't actually work that way. We just got to get to 6. So he'll cast his 2 votes in favor. Because he doesn't really want to leave that spot. And allocating the money will let him buy ships and get more cash into his pocket. Not that we really need ships, but what about this pale orange? He doesn't have anyone he can promote directly. He doesn't have a whole hell of a lot in here. How do I feel? Oops. Sorry, 1 vote in favor. I can't tell the color very well. Okay, pale orange. Pale orange will vote against. And that just means not in favor. Dark orange. Where is his position here? Dark orange. Kind of doesn't care. Pink will not be trying to destroy the company, I don't think. Which I'm not in too bad a shape if he does. I don't want to give the power over to purple, though. But I don't think I like pink all that much, so I'll vote against. Blue. Blue has lots of votes. Does blue want this? Because they might get themselves in a position where, in order to prevent giving him the option of whoever he likes, this can go. Blue wants the company to succeed. He doesn't really have a whole hell of a lot of advantages. I think blue is going to vote his 4 votes in favor. Brings it up to 5. It takes 1 more vote to swing this over. Green. Green has very few votes. He's not opposed to pink, who looks like he's going to run the company well. So we get a successful election. Puts pink over here into chairmanship. At which point he gets to assign the cash. Now, he definitely wants to put 4 money in. 8 might be nice. Let me see what I distribute. So I immediately distributed the money, $8 into here. But now we've got to fill the rest of the vacancies. So we went from chairman. We follow the chain. Hey, we got one up here. That will be purple's choice to fill. Purple could put green in there, and that would get rid of green's cube. Sounds like a good move to me. I don't have any purple cubes here. Getting rid of the green cube that's a promise seems like a great idea, since I can't fill this anyway. And also reducing green's cubes, because green has extra bucks for him for having one in there. So we'll promote him and give them back a cube. Of course, trying to tie them down so they have to rip a cube off one of their prizes is also interesting, but I don't feel like they're ahead, so we're not all that worried about that. Over here. The chairman has to nominate here. The chairman is pink. Pink doesn't have any cubes on him. They don't want to promote themselves, but they could promote either purple or pale green. They can't promote him, I don't think, because he just got promoted. I'm not sure how that's worded. Yeah, that would cause a problem if they did. So I don't want to do that because it might end up empty. So I'm going to promote pale green here. That doesn't really give me anything. No, there's only one green. Okay. And we keep working our way through. And we come to the final promotion, which is pale orange's choice. Pale orange can pull anyone up. They don't have their own. Obviously, we can hurt pale green by putting them in here. I don't know how much hurt it is, but pale green doesn't have any cubes here, so that's kind of cool. That's all the vacancies. And now the offices, well, ships purchasing. I've got $8. That lets me buy, we get a gun in each presidential army. That should have happened already. And, Jesus, look at that thing. And the military upkeep from officers gets paid. Well, I am buying the 2 ships. That's $8. They go over here. What are these? Captains. And $3 goes to Pink for his 2 shipyards, and $1 to, that's pale orange there. It's good to be aligned with the guy who's buying them, right? All right. Goods purchasing, no money, can't do anything. Could take out a loan. Oh, I should have thought about that. Okay. We got a lot of money there. We got troops. We got 6 guys. We got a position. I'm not really in favor of military adventurism. However, none of the cubes fit anyone. So I'm going to split these 3 and 3 and just replace the officers that are up there. Over here to ships. Pale green has money for ships. Cheapest ships are 4 each. I can buy 1 for 4. I cannot afford 1 for 6. That 4, I don't think I get my money beforehand. I think I have to fund it all at once. So that 4 gives me $1 back here. One of these cubes. We're low on cubes anyway, what the hell. And out of the other $3, who is it? Dark orange. Gets $1. He's getting a pile. That he could do some shipping. Now I have to assign these. We're trying to make things go well. Pale orange doesn't have a lot of victory points. Not dark orange. They got a lot of cubes though to hurt other people with, but I think what that means is that I am going to try to optimize how much money I can make. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 here. 7, 8, 9. I can hold up to 5 more. Another 3 will work there. These don't make as much money. So I am going to assign all 3 of my ships over here. Now, something that goes bad here could cause real problems, but like the ships could end up all destroyed, which would hurt the company, but that's okay. That's what we do. Here, campaigning. I cannot campaign. We're not up to him yet. Open up new trade. Don't want to do. So I have 2, 3, 4, 5. These aren't actually pushed yet until I take my roll. I can make 2 shots. I only get 1 die. It's a good die though. And so I have sent all my ships, which gets me 5. We would like to help the company as well as ourselves. So there's 3. 4, 5. That's 5. $17. Well, that'll help. I don't know if it's enough, but it'll help. Okay, Now we go up here. He could try to improve this with one die. Seems like a good idea. I might lose the position, but it does seem like a good idea. So I need a 1 or a 2 to improve it. I do not get it. I get canned instead, which, you know, that cost me the buck in taxes that I could have stolen. But whatever. All right, we come back down, zip over here. Back to pale green. We want to go in. We've got one die as well because there's 3 territories there. This is not good. I don't know. Cocked again, cocked. Success. I feel bad about it now. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. I want to cover as many as possible. Oh, 12. Okay, I want to cover as many as possible for 12. I don't really care that much about the money. So 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 3 2s and 2 3s. Fuck. I think. And we'll help the company as much as possible because we're not ahead victory point wise. So we'll take these. So that adds 12, 23, 27 more bucks, 30, 44. Lots and lots of money. He didn't want to do any of the other stuff. Although he could have conquered. But doesn't have the dice to do it. Okay. And he didn't want to give the money. He doesn't have the officers to help with that. So I think that ends us with the offices. And we go to trade. And this is just going to be kind of an automatic thing where we go through these and hand out the cash. The company, well, first of all, people have gained their income. And you can see there's a lot of money collecting up on some of these players. Him in particular with all those ships. That's beginning to worry people, just how much he's pulling in. Now, he's the one who gets $1 or £1 for each 2 ships out there. So he's also got kind of a nice flow of income compared to everyone else. Perhaps why these guys want to keep the game running a little bit longer. Company was up at 44. Well, after they paid their maintenance, and remember the soldiers each made $1. We're down to only 17. We have to pay dividends. 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We can only pay 1 level of dividends. Technically, we could have taken out a loan to pay a 2nd level of dividends. But those are going to go out. So purple gets 2, 4. For blue, we haven't done dividends in a while. Green and dark orange each get 1. And pale orange. Come up with another word for tangerine, maybe, I don't know. Gets that. That gives the chairman now $7 to distribute. Well, I like building boats. Throwing the cash in here seems like not a bad idea. I would like to give at least $4 there. I can always take out a loan for the additional money if shares aren't being bought up. I don't know how many shares you need to buy. And I'm going to split this other $3. And getting through this without an additional loan is kind of cool. This other $3, $2 here gives 1 die. I'm going to actually put all 3 over on the Bengal presidency, I think. You know, I'm not sure I like that because look at all the cash the players who have the presidencies are getting. And Pale Green's making so much money. I'm going to throw all that money into the Bombay presidency. If we're still chairman, maybe we'll think, about whether to take that loan. And now we go to the events. Now I'm going to push this down so that it stays available. And whoops. Did I screw up? Okay. If I screwed up, something bad happened here. Oh, jeez. I can't tell which one's which. Oh, this one's the one with the vote. Yeah, that's the one I wanted in there. It's a little different. It means that the company doesn't get a forced deregulation. Okay. So, first thing we have is the events in India. Well, he could have moved this shit. Who is that? Pink. This is going from 2 to 3. Yeah. I mean, it's not worth screwing around with. So, yeah. And then to 4. And what is this ability? Moves it to the next region. So that doesn't really help me. Okay. So this goes here. It's not a dominated region. So we roll a die. We're in chaos, so we roll 2 dice. And we went high. I mean, we don't. 5, that's a starburst. Damned if I know. That's a collapse. Have we had one of those yet? I can't remember. There it is. Any completed orders are disrupted. The balance of India tilts towards chaos. Okay, now somewhere they talk about disrupted orders. The president associated with the order immediately removes as many ships. Yeah. As many ships as the demand of each filled order from either the presidency's holdings or those ships it has exhausted. It has to go without captains first. So that's 3. These ships go away. Nobody's captains have been hurt though, so that's kind of cool. Now we go to 4. You can't trigger this at this point. We're still in chaos. Ooh. We're going after Bombay, which is over here. Uh-oh. Nobody did any military, though, so this will be defendable by the president, I think. But if it has to be the governor, we got problems. So he's going for a 3 there. Now, let's see. This is a region dominated. The provincial office or president, if vacant, can allocate. Okay, so I can defend this, and I will. Look, everything's exhausted. Great, whatever. That prevents that attack from happening. Those are my 2 events. Attrition. I'll make some die rolls to see who gets fired. A couple of removals. Over here, the Bombay presidency, which went into this, hey, let's get 2 victory points for $4. And then the other one, unfortunately for Pink, in the ship's purchasing, which he gave money to, and he may want to, there we go. Damn, Zoom got bumped. Luckily, it was fixable easily. He may want to actually take some promises, give promises out, because that shipbuilding is powerful. But it's only $2 for him to do that. So a bunch of promises may not be worth it. With the chairmanship, though, he should be able to generate cool stuff. Oh, it's not his choice. It's Orange's. I'm screwed. Unless I cut a deal with Orange. Okay. But I did buy over here to get a victory point and get an event instead of the cheaper club membership, which I could have gotten for only 1. However you want to look at it. I don't know. Re-rolling the event. Yeah, we want to try to keep the game running and not lose. Okay, so now we're here on the possibility of revoking the monopoly. And to begin with, it's at a -5. Let's count votes. Who's got what? It's shipyards, factories, and money. And our chairmanship is over here, so he starts the voting. Well, he has 3 shipyards, no factories, no money left. I am going to vote 3 against. I do not want the company revoked. Again, playing the standard campaign game, it would just automatically be revoked. I like the voting option in here, but I'm kind of cheating the game. I'm beginning to see why there shouldn't be this in this place. Basically, it's either you know that the company's going to be revoked, or you know every time it fails, there's a chance of it revoking. I think what we're going to do is we're going to leave the other one in here, and we're going to bump this one into the end of the Monopoly game rules. We'll talk about those in a moment. Okay, because I don't think we're going to fail here. Pale orange. Well, wait a minute. Maybe we want it revoked. Wait, what? Hold on. What happens if it's revoked? That's a good, interesting question. It's not the same as failure. Revoking the monopoly means we go to deregulation, which means a lot. All right, I'm going to think about this because I'm not sure he's voting against it. It could well be that people kind of want the monopoly to be destroyed. Pink's feelings are they do not have enough cash to make sense to deregulate, because you really need a lot of cash or you need a lot of ships or something like that, and they just don't have it. They'd rather keep things simple with the company. Let's take a look at Pale Orange. Pale Orange doesn't have a lot of ships, has some cash. I could buy ships. I think I'm fairly happy as well. I do have money, but I'm going to put my 2 votes, because -10 is as bad as it can get, against as well. Now we go over to the Paxton family. Dark Orange. What is their feeling? Well, their feeling is we got some cash. We might be able to take an advantage from this. We only have 1 vote outside of money. Basically, what we're looking at is Pale Green is probably in the strongest single position for this. We're not going to throw money in. If we basically would we want to make a deal? Like maybe we pay $2 and move it down 3 to -7. Pale Green could be responsible for the rest. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think instead we're just going to vote 1 in favor and let him spend money if he wants. He's not going to want to spend that much. What about blue? Blue is only good at company actions. He's rather opposed to this. He has 1 vote. He'll put it back. All right, Pale Green. Pale Green has 2 votes. I can easily move these. But now we're talking about $9. That's my money. I can't do it. The law does not pass. Now, what are we doing with this? Well, I'm taking this one. Nah, we'll leave it in case there's a reshuffle. What the hell? We've mutated the game a bit. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift us to the company under siege scenario now for the rest of the 10 turns. What this does is each time a bailout occurs, the revoke monopoly law becomes the event card for that turn. And if it fails to pass, it'll just keep recurring. That's kind of an interesting scenario to mix the 2 up. That one's a shorter scenario. Anyway, I mean, you know, obviously If you were playing in some kind of tournament or something, you wouldn't be fiddling around with the rules like this. But I'm trying to get something that I think is kind of neat. Okay, but we do have the rest of this card to resolve, right? Nope, we did it. That was the local news. And now we go to the refresh and shift some tokens around and stuff. Look at that. We got a whole bunch of tokens here that are of interest. Starting with pink, and because I've been forgetting about this. Does he want an officer or a captain? If I put an officer, green will boot one of my own probably. If I put a captain, I don't have money, so I'm going to hold off. This should have been being done regularly. Pale orange, an officer or a captain. Captains have been proving to be very, very good, so I'll drop that there, and I'll take a captain. Because that's going to refresh into the Director of Trade, and I'm in position to take advantage of that. Dark orange isn't... What? Oh, this isn't pink, this is dark orange. Oops. Okay, dark orange. I can't tell the two apart. When they're next to each other, sometimes I can tell that they're different, and then I can figure it out. Dark orange has plenty of money. He too wants to play the captain's game. Pale blue, or blue. The soldier doesn't make a lot of sense. I got money. I'll drop a captain as well. Ship thing's gonna happen again, right? Greenies. Greenies got money. Doesn't have a whole lot of cubes, but that's okay. We'll just keep cranking that value up. Purple doesn't have money, does have room for soldiers. I'm going to drop 2 officers in because soldiers make a buck a turn and get allocated into some of those positions. So now all of these have gotten used up. It's a powerful ability, but for whatever reason, I haven't been using it and I've been forgetting about it. Okay, and now we go to the refreshes, which allow these to push over. All that stuff becomes refreshed, etc. For family actions, we see a lot of money going into the manors, which isn't going to help the company at all, and new officers being placed for next turn's promotion with the idea of, hey, officers make money, they're cool. The iffy thing is putting purples on purple, but yeah. We're not doing terribly well. We are doing pretty well. I'm going to actually drop these guys into the writers instead, because I think putting 2 in here is going to end up canceling out the 2 that I've got for this turn. I don't think pink is necessarily going to be overriding my own pieces. Putting 2 purples in there, if I thought I was... You know, I am in the lead. Nah, I got to put them in here. Yeah. Okay. The problem is I have no flow of officers going forward, company officers as opposed to military officers. And that's where it's kind of putting a couple guys in writers makes sense there. Now we'll get to the company actions. We're filled with a minimum of negotiation. I guess the only thing that happened was purple went in here in exchange for giving pink the governorship of Bombay. That's actually kind of negative because maybe pink would have gotten the ship purchaser they wanted, but they didn't feel like they had any kind of assurances from pale orange that they would get that. And getting some position is better than nothing, I guess. We went through the various options, ships being purchased, etc. Blue got shafted on the ships. They had a captain there. They weren't willing to give up a cube to be able to buy a ship at $4, so they were left to last and not given a chance at a ship. Dark orange was given the option of 1 at 6 and they bought it, which may not be a great idea at this point in the game. It's hard to tell. Okay, and then as we got here, Bombay succeeded in their shipping. Lots of tokens went out. Governor of Bombay succeeded in an invest operation, which flipped this over. That moves this towards order. And it moves the elephant here, which means it's very unlikely for Bombay itself to get hit with the next event. And now we move forward to the last office. And they are also successful on shipping, didn't do an invasion, which they could have done. The governor could have done one too. Geez. He has a huge army, he probably wanted to. What could he hit? Punjab, Mysore, and Sindh. The danger here, though, is if I attack something, I create more difficulties for the company. But Sindh could have been taken. I don't have soldiers there, so I'm not going to get any plunder. I'm not really sure I see a reason to launch the attack, so I'm going to keep my army here to help protect my governorship. I just don't see too much advantage. I could go attack Mysore, but Bengal would still be in his purvey. Now, for his shipping, he concentrated entirely in Bengal in order to improve, and I think all the ships got used, in order to improve his, let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11, yeah. Total income for the company, which we got almost up as high as last time at 42. But, and remember, this didn't get affected. That extra income doesn't come in or anything. There is one danger with that, which is if Bengal gets hit with a bad event, it could have more of a bad effect on the company, on the shipping, whatever. That's very, very unlikely to begin with, because this is going to probably go to the next one. And special events might get us to Maratha or something, but they're not going to get us all the way up to Bengal. We don't think. We're not sure. And I forgot to do this, didn't I? I forgot to give each army another gun this turn. Yeah, that's going to hurt the company in the long run, but now we start accounting for everything that took place. One of the things about the game, in terms of videoing it, it's very expensive, which is why I've jumped away from, I've moved back and not looking as much in the actions, which I like to try to do. I wasn't sure I could do it with this very easily. But the game is very, very mechanical in operation. So for example now, well, I'm going to go through each thing and look to see who gets taxes, who gets presidential bonuses, and everything. It's just really kind of, there's this very, very procedural and mechanical aspect to it where you just do this and it almost is automatic. Once you make your decisions as to what your family choices are, except for some negotiation that may take place, a lot of it is just really this almost pat thing. You might have to make a decision as to, who do I want to favor over who else, but just especially once we hit here down, there often aren't a lot of decisions, just simply following the routine. Whether or not that's good, it's one of the things that kind of, to me, obfuscates the game. In the same way I saw this with Axis Empires, when you start having too much of a procedural outlook on the game itself. There it's more in the rule book than in terms of the actions that you take. There were a lot of choices as to how you do things. It's just not obvious what they affect. Well, here you're making maybe some minor choices, but mainly they're being seen through a filter of many, many mechanical actions. So it's almost like a Rube Goldberg, I do this, what's that going to affect in the long run? You got no idea. And the company's got a problem. We have 10 of these cubes, and we only made $9 total after all expenses were paid. With these cannons, with the debt, with everything else, it's becoming a real problem. The company's having trouble standing together. That means a few things. First of all, now, I could have pre-calculated this and taken out a loan to have the extra. No, I couldn't take out a loan to pay off the dividends. If I could have figured out some way to get some more money into the revenues, but taking out a loan doesn't help with that directly. It just helps with the shipping and everything. And goods would have been the only time when I would have had to have known in advance. And there's just there's no way, you know, there really is no way. Okay, so that means we've just hit something bad, which is, I don't know where it is. J. Okay. After all the deregulation. Great. Okay. We have not deregulated yet. But this is going to trigger the revoke monopoly as the card for the turn. But at this point, what do we have? If a player has more than one cube, they're returned. Reset the chair price. And we're going to have some firings. All right, so the stock value, or the stock holdings, are all destroyed. That's what goes away. Whose fault was this? I'm not sure. I mean, you could say it's the chairman's fault, and he's not too unhappy with it, to tell you the truth. Oh, that's not the chairman. Can't keep those. Can't keep track of who's who, because that pink and dark orange are just too similar for my vision. Okay, so all of these go away. The share price is 3, and each executive office holder is going to get a black thing on them. Well, we ran out of black things, so I'll put a blue thing on this one. And they're going to get sacked. It costs them $2 more to get an office, to get a prize if they want. There is no remainder, is there? Oh no, there is. There's $9 remainder. I can't pay additional dividends at this point. That $9 has to be assigned, and it's actually assigned before the collapse. It moves off Bombay to Sind. Now we only roll 1 die because we're in neutral. We get a 5, which probably isn't good. That's a starburst. Don't remember what that does. I can look it up here, but that doesn't really help me much. It's going to cause chaos. It's collapse. It's just not much. It just disrupts any orders there, and there aren't any. Oh, no. Wrong. This is sovereign. Oh, yeah, collapse. Okay. Oh, gotcha. Because it's not dominated, that's why. And now this goes to 8 if I can find 8, which is a dross. And now we're back to our 2 dice. And I guess it doesn't matter. 2 flags. What's 2 flags? That's like a revolt. Okay, there is no office. Sovereign enclosed, any completed orders on it would be disrupted. Goes to the lowest number dominated region. Well, that's either Punjab, which I don't know if it counts because it's part of an empire, or Bombay. Let's see if we can find a... I'm trying to remember if there's definitions here. That would be really helpful. I don't believe there are. So now I have to try to find where dominated is. Regions dominated by the company, but I have to also find, can you be dominated by another nation? That would be here, it becomes dominated, yeah. So it's going to be Punjab that goes. Definitions would be really helpful when they're going to use a word like that, so you don't have to hunt through the rules. Multiple locations that essentially define what the word means. And you have to find each of them. We have an index, that's useful, but I don't think there's any actual glossary. Okay, that was the events abroad and attrition, and we got a lot of people getting sacked. Kind of a hard period because having the money might be important. So, like Pink, who took a canning at the chairmanship, chose not to even buy a club membership. They have plenty of cubes. They could probably afford it, but they feel like they have to do something else to get victory, and they're not sure what that is. They're not hitting on all cylinders right now. Maybe they need to try the new, the revoking of the monopoly, even though they're not in the best of shape for it. We see purple and orange, and remember they had to pay a 2-point penalty for this, buying the hey, get a cup and 2 points. Pale green, the only green, had tons of money, and they invested in the big Scottish Isle. This is huge because this is a 6-point cube. If they can keep racking up cash like this, they're going to look really, really promising over the next couple turns. Like if they can get one of these every couple turns or something, and in addition be investing in manors or whatever, they're going to be in a really, really powerful position. So this has a lot of people panicked in terms of, do we need to shake up the company? We have the opportunity to do so, which indeed is where we are right now. It's not overwhelmingly against deregulation at this point. We're up to the Sykes family with the big money, who have been kind of gaining. The only person who voted in favor at this point was Dark Orange, the Paxton, or against the resolution, which means in favor of the company, with the Paxton family, who feels like they've got a shot to kind of catch up. They've got a bunch of these in here, and they've got a nice income solution in it. Now, Sykes definitely wants to vote against the resolution. We only have 2 votes. But here's the thing. There's only one person remaining, the Walshes. They have 2 votes and $2. If I'm willing to invest $2, I can prevent this from possibly happening, because the vote has to be greater than 0. I think it is in my interest. Well, somebody else could throw the money to crush the company. And dark purple has purple has a lot of victory points in play. They don't have the huge shipping advantage. Now, the huge shipping advantage works well in both cases. That's the problem. We were hoping it would get wiped out by, an event or something, because that can happen if there's a collapse on, the trade. A lot of ships could go. But there's a lot of padding here, so it would have to hit this one, and it didn't. Well, I'm going to throw that $2 extra in and make it so somebody has to actually pay him to wreck the company. And, well, he's clearly, I think, in favor of voting those 2, but now he'd want money from other people. And who is willing to do it? Who's willing to revoke the monopoly? Because one of the problems here has to do with the end game. Company failure is fairly possible here, but after deregulation, at least one firm, that gives it an extra turn, but without the company operating. So the company can fail, but players' companies can continue. I don't know how much that really helps. Everybody would like to beat up on certain players, in particular that dark orange and green, who seem to be poised to take the best advantage of the company right now. But, dark orange isn't that rich in victory points. Purple is ahead of them in victory points, so that's kind of a concern. Purple likes the idea of things ending. Yeah, they're going to have to get something in order to do this. They're kind of not unhappy with their victory point condition. So they're going to actually, I think we're going to push into the next turn without charging this. Now this thing is still in effect, which means none of these goods can be bought. If all the factories are owned by player companies or by players, no goods get generated. I'm going to do some refresh, and then I think we're loading this one up.